pastoralist family that is not educated for decades, no any other skills apart from cattle wrestling, remain the while looking for free pasture. He does not know anything apart from cattle rearing, which is his only source of livelihood. If you take away the cattle from him, he has no any other skills, coupled with lack of education, idleness, poverty, prevalence of drugs, proliferation of arms. They say an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So what do you expect he becomes? So that's why we always call out for the government to begin to address these underlying causes of this crisis. What are those underlying causes? Begin to model a settlement that can begin to address this issue of movement. When they get settled, that is when we will get them educated. That is when we will get them in their large number to begin to teach them other skills.
The herders/farmers crisis in Nigeria has been of serious concern for decades, and recently kidnapping, banditry and castle rustling have joined the mix to worsen the internal security architecture of the country. The Miyetti Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria has occasionally received backlashes as the group has been perceived as an association supporting the alleged Fulani bandits who have become a threat to the nation's security. With the continuous calls for cattle herders to leave some states, the presidency had disagreed with the fact that herders are primarily responsible for most of the kidnappings and murders happening in the country, stating that it is a constitutional right for all citizens to settle wherever they may please. Reacting to this, aggrieved Nigerians had initiated an online petition which was addressed to the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, the United Nations, Economic of West African States, the African Union and the European Union, claiming that the government has refused to prefer a permanent solution to the high level of insecurity in the country. The petition, which is titled "To Proscribe Fulani Headsmen, Militants and Miyetti as Terrorists," reportedly only needs 200 signatories and has gotten up to 107 signatories as of Monday morning. The petition seeks to address the inability of the government to tame killer headsmen who have been accused of banditry, rape and the abduction of innocent citizens. In an exclusive interview with Roots TV Nigeria, the National Secretary of MAGBAN, Mr. Uthman Njelzama, stated that pastoralists are on one side seen as victims, while seen as criminals on the other side.
And when you hear MAGBAN speaking, we always speak on behalf of our members, those who have accepted to register with us as members. We speak on their behalf. We don't speak for the entire Nigerian Fulanis. We don't speak for every pastoralist. But that is where the mistake is. MAGBAN is seen as the spokesman for Fulanis. No, we don't speak for the entire Fulanis. And we don't speak for criminals, because we are not criminals, and our association is not a criminal association. Although we don't support, we condemn criminality in all its facets. We condemn banditry, we condemn cattle rustling, we condemn kidnapping, because we also suffer in the hands of those kidnappers and rustlers. We don't condone them, we don't support them, and we don't speak for them, and we'll never speak for them. We only speak for our members, legitimate peace-loving members. We speak for them.
Nigeria's security architecture over the years has been faced with several challenges, and there have been calls on the government to prefer permanent solutions to the killings, kidnappings and banditry ravaging the nation, allegedly perpetrated by Fulani headsmen. Njelzama mentioned that the only solution to castle rustling, banditry and kidnapping in Nigeria is
one of the most important solutions to solving farmer-herder conflict is for the government to do all it could to settle this pastoralism in one place, get them settled in one place so that they can be educated, they can get good benefit for their trade, and they can also shape their way of living. You know, they see cattle rearing as a trade and as a way of living and as a source of livelihood. Their lives depends on the cattle they rear.
He also mentioned the increase in population and climate change as factors responsible for the migration of pastoralists to other parts of the country.
On both human beings and the animals, the population will be on the increase by the day, against a land that doesn't increase. Land does not increase. So this calls for an effective planning, at least for the two professions to coexist peacefully, farmers and the pastoralists, because the land that we always compete on does not increase, but the population will keep on increasing. So even in the northern part of the country where the pastoralists belong, it will be impossible for him to move from one local government to the other in future because of the increase in population. More demands on the land, more demand for farmlands, more demand for institution, construction, roads, and so many other demands, and coupled with the climate change that it's also affecting the land day by day. The pattern of rainfall is changing. There is shortage of water.
Following several reports of the invasion of Fulani settlements where cattle were killed and houses burnt, Njozame mentioned that the Fulani herder, whose source of livelihood is cattle rearing, is also a victim of castle rustling and kidnapping in the nation's forests.
Before you kidnap one personality on the roadside or in the city, tens of them must have been kidnapped in the forest. It's a silent happening. They sell the cow, pay ransom, migrate to another place. When they are kidnapped, they sell the cow, pay ransom. So they are not spared by kidnapping, they are not spared by cattle rustling, they are not spared by banditry. 2 days, 3 days back, 1,730 cows were arrested in one day in Kafin Koro in Niger State. Just 4 or 5 days back, 1,730 cows were arrested on the same day belonging to Fulani families. So this is the daily occurrence. Pastoralists suffering from the hands of kidnappers, suffering from the hands of bandits, suffering from the hands of cattle rustlers. So as I told you, we are sandwiched between two grave evils. On the other side, the general public is looking at the Fulanis as the criminals at the same time.
He further corrected the misinformation that all Fulani herders are Miyetti, saying not all are registered under Magban, as this has led to the killing of some of their members who have been wrongly accused of crimes they are innocent of.
Vigilante going around killing innocent pastoralists, while bandits and kidnappers are in the forest. And while that is going on, a bunch of bandits came and stole 1,730 cows from pastoralists in the same Niger State, just 3 or 4 days back. We use this medium to call on government and all security agencies and all 1 million Nigerians to render their contribution as support towards bringing an end of this conflict, because it's in nobody's interest.
The governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, had beckoned on the federal government to place a ban on the movement of herders from north to south so as to help curb the clashes between farmers and herders in the country. According to Osman Njozama,
which cattle? Is it the one that is being transported for meat purposes that should be banned? Or is it the ones that are gradually moving to the south in search of pasture and water that should be banned? So it is when that statement is very clear that one can comment on it. But as it is now, we don't know what he meant by banning the movement. It has to be a wider approach. There are some indigenous pastoralists living in the southwest that today if you ask them to leave the southwest, they will not know where to go. If you go to Ogun, the Bargu clan of Planis, they are called Bargu. The Bargu clan of Planis, they have already become indigenous of Ondo State, and they have intermarried with Yorubas. A lot of them have intermarried with Yorubas. You can hardly find a straightforward Fulani man there. See, either the mother is Yoruba or the father is Yoruba. So if you ask these guys, where will they go to?